I'm not a lawyer, but a former NFL journalist just filed a discrimination lawsuit against the NFL, and I'm going to tell you about it. Okay, so this is Jim Trotter, and according to the lawsuit, he's a widely respected, highly renowned, and award-winning journalist. He worked for Sports Illustrated, and then in 2018, he entered into a 2-year contract with NFL Media, which the lawsuit says is an extension of the NFL. After his initial 2-year contract was up, NFL Media opted to renew him for a 3-year contract. This contract lasted from 2020 until March of 2023 with another option to renew. Now, according to the lawsuit, on November 16, 2022, Sandra Nunez, who was the vice president of on-air talent management, told Jim's agent that she, quote, could not envision any reason why Jim's contract would not be renewed. And then on February 8th, 2023, Jim publicly criticized Roger Goodell, who is the NFL commissioner, and the entire organization.
I've worked at NFL Media for 5 years. During those 5 years, we have never had a black person in senior management in our newsroom. More concerning is that for a year plus now, we have never had a full-time black employee on the news desk, which again is a problem because we cover a league whose player population is 60 to 70% black according to league data. And so I would ask you as an employee, when are we in the newsroom going to have a black person in senior management, and when will we have a full-time black employee on the news desk?
And now here's a clip of how Roger responded.
Well, Jim, I am not in charge of the newsroom, and we did go back and we have reviewed everything we've been doing across the league. And we are looking at everything from vendors that we're working with to partners that we're working with to ownership where we've seen significant changes in diversity just this year. And I'm not specific, do not know specifically about the media business. We'll check in again with our people, but I am comfortable that we made significant progress across the league.
About 3 weeks later, Sandra Nunez asked Jim if he was, quote, in alignment with the NFL, to which Jim responded that he was not in alignment with a newsroom that does not have black representation in decision-making positions. There were some subsequent emails back and forth, and then on March 24th, 2023, Sandra told Jim's agent that his contract would not be renewed. And so based on this sequence of events and what the lawsuit claims is a history of discrimination and a lack of diversity, Jim alleges that he was let go because he publicly challenged the NFL commissioner and the NFL. Now listen, the way the lawsuit is written, it kind of goes through a bunch of different examples that Jim claims shows the NFL's history of racism, discrimination, and retaliation. And this is where the tea is. One of the first examples that's highlighted in the lawsuit refers to an NFL media Zoom meeting in which a media reporter allegedly described a conversation that he had with Buffalo Bills owner Terry Pegula. I don't know if I'm saying that man's name right. According to the reporter, Terry says, quote, if black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is. And then another example that's detailed is when Jim himself was on the field at the Hall of Fame game. And during a conversation with the Cowboys vice president of player personnel, Jim expresses that NFL teams don't tend to draft many players from HBCU. Allegedly, during that conversation, Jerry Jones, who is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, comes over and says, quote, if blacks feel some kind of way, they should buy their own team and hire who they want to hire. According to the lawsuit, Jim Trotter followed up with the league regarding both of these instances and some others that are named in the suit, but he was effectively brushed off or told that they were, quote, looking into it. Now, another interesting example that's given in the lawsuit is in regards to the settlement that was reached with retired NFL players concerning CTE. So if you don't know, in 2011, a settlement was reached in which players who had suffered from concussions and brain injuries as a result of playing in the NFL, after doing a number of tests, if the players were deemed to have suffered cognitive impairment, the NFL would pay them out. But according to a lawsuit, the NFL insisted that doctors use, quote, race norms to evaluate if players had actually suffered cognitive impairment. Y'all ready? According to this lawsuit, basically the NFL insisted that white people have better cognitive function than black people. And so when evaluating if the players had actually suffered from cognitive impairment, doctors were supposed to take into account that black people were naturally had less cognitive function. So while it may look like they suffered cognitive impairment, they really may not have, because they were just born that way. And in using this method, Black players received less payout than white players. The lawsuit goes on to detail how all of this behavior is in line with the NFL's history of silence when it comes to matters of discrimination. Jerry Jones and Terry Bagula both say that the claims are inaccurate. So we'll see how this goes.